Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and I am here with my special guest, Misti. I am grandma this week because Rena is taking a little time off, and I got the opportunity to babysit this beautiful baby boy. So I just wanted to bring him in today to the live just to say hello to everybody. Now, although it would be really fun to have Misti craft. In fact, I walked him all around our warehouse today, and some of the girls in the back were like, oh, you should get him to craft, maybe put a little bit of ink on his paws and have him do some stamping. Well, I don't know that that's a good idea, because do you remember the foam square incident of 2019? Yes, Misti found a sheet of foam squares in 2019 out of Rena's craft desk and got them all over him. And while it was fun, while he was playing with them, the aftermath, the craftermath, was not that much fun trying to get all those foam squares off of this very fluffy boy. So I just wanted to bring him on to say hello to everybody. And I'm going to give you, Mr. Baby, I'm going to give you a chewy stick, and you go find a place to relax. You can listen to Grandpop's music, and we're going to do some crafting. How's that? All right, here we go. Go ahead, Mish. Take your chewy stick. All right, everybody. Well, welcome. It's great to see all of you here today. Today, we're going to have some fun with the partial die cutting technique. I'm going to do a book fold style card. I've done the partial die cutting technique a couple of times before. I've done where it's cut from the top. I've done where it's cut from the bottom in a tent fold, but I haven't done a book fold one yet. And I want to show you how, when you do a pattern paper inset on the inside, how beautiful it looks and how it makes that partial die cutting really pop. We're going to be playing with a little bit of colored pencils and Gamsol today as well. So if you're crafting along, grab your favorite colors and you can have some fun coloring with me too. So before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy crafternoon. Greetings from the dead space.
How are you today?
Doing great.
Greetings from the dead space. I love it. So Tom told me that he does have a word of the day. Is that correct?
Yes.
For later?
Yes, I have a word to appreciate for the day.
A word to, okay. Oh, good. One of those. I can't wait. Well, it's great to see you. Now, one thing that I wanted to go over first before we get started with today's technique is in our Facebook group, I saw somebody asking, they bought the little fine tip bottles and they weren't sure how to get the Connect glue into the bottle. And I want to show you how easy this is to do. I actually saw people saying that, well, if you can pull this pin out at the top, you might be able to get a funnel, and it's not really that hard. So what I want to do is show you how easy it is to do this. So let me get a piece of cardstock here so that I can put it up against, so you're going to be able to see this overhead a little bit better. Okay, so you can use either the small glue, the small Connect glue, the 1/2 ounce, or you can use this 2 ounce size. I prefer to use the 2 ounce size for this, just because, you know, I mean, the small one is already small. So if you have the big one, but either one works just the same. So when you get your bottles, they come in the package like this. So what I would do is take the top off, the little protector that keeps the air out, and just unscrew the top. If you want to take this off, you can. And it's got a huge opening there. You don't need a funnel. You don't need anything like that. Nothing like that. Then when you get your big bottle of Connect glue, some people said, well, I tried to squeeze it and nothing came out. That's because you've got to unscrew the top, and then mine's already open. But what was under there is this. So this is on top, sealed for your protection. That keeps the air out, and that makes sure that your glue is nice and fresh when you get it. So you are going to want to peel that off, and then just replace the cap back on this Connect glue, and then just turn this upside down, insert this right into here. It inserts super easy, and then just squeeze. See how I'm just squeezing that glue in there? Just fill your glue, just like that. It's not hard at all. You don't need any special funnel. You don't have to pull the pin out of the top, nothing like that. Put as much as you want in there. I just filled it up about halfway. And then you can, if you like this little protector, I like mine, but I did take it off and I just use it separately. But if you like keeping it on there so you don't lose it, just place it back around the neck of the bottle and then just screw your cap right back on. Then you can replace that to keep the air out, and it's all set. Super easy to do. I always like to just clean the top of the bottle off here. And I like to burp the bottle. And what I mean is I like to kind of tap it a little bit and then squeeze it and then relax it so the glue releases from this area. If you squeeze it gently and then relax it, it kind of sucks the glue back down into the bottle. And then you'll notice on this cap, there's a little insert. Can you see that little insert in there? Right there, that little thing. Mm-hmm. That goes right around the tip to protect it from getting air. So that really keeps it nice and safe, and you shouldn't have any problem with this clogging. So make sure that you pull that little protector out, or you're not going to get anything out of the top. And then I use this because I really like how fine this is. I use my big one for when I want to do, let me find a piece of cardstock here. When I want to do like big areas and I want to just get a lot of glue on there, I'll use the big one. But when I want to do super, super fine dots, then I use this one because I can get the tiniest little dots. I can go all the way down to the tiniest little sizes. So I really like this. And then if this ever feels like it's clogged, it's not clogged. It just has a dried piece on the top. So just use your fingernail and pull it off. It is a stainless steel, so nothing really sticks in there. Like the glue can't stick in there and harden. It would just be at the top where the air got to it. So that's my little tip of the day. I'll glue this onto something else later. All right, so today I wanted to play with this pattern paper pack. This is the Watercolor Floral pattern paper pack, and this is what is in the new kit. We are busy building kits for our May 17th release, and this is going to all get re-released, so I'm excited about this. So I thought I would use one piece of this. Now, obviously, you have to have some pattern papers in your collection, and if you don't have a pattern paper pack in your collection, then you could do a wood grain panel and get the same effect, get a very similar effect. So I am going to take one of these pieces, just this green piece. I really love this pattern right here. It's just kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a watercolor kind of, it looks almost like ink blending a little bit. I guess that's what it looks the most like. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut this down to 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. I think that's a good size to do. Actually, I could do that a little bit bigger. I'm going to save this one for another piece. And I'm going to do one more because I think I want it to be a little bit bigger for the inside here. So I'm going to do one more. I'll use that on another card. So I'm going to cut this one down a little bit bigger. I'm going to go to 3 3/4 inch by 5. Now, if you have Master Layouts 1, you can just cut it with Master Layouts 1. But I think this will be a better size for this card project. Okay, so there we go. Now, I do have a piece of cardstock here that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And yes, it's black. You can use any color you want, but you know me, I like that black border. So I'm going to adhere these two panels together. All right. And you know what, Tom? Can I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you go to my office? I was walking around with my die cutting plates and I left them in my office, and I'm going to need those. So they should be sitting right on my desk. And I know Mishi's going to try to make a beeline for it. So just have to disrupt everything. Oh my goodness. I was walking around with them in my hand and I put them down to do something, and you know how that is. Thank goodness my office is just next door, not too far away. And today I can't actually layer things. So let's try this again here. I'm a little disheveled today. I'm telling you what, I'm out of dog practice. I have not taken care of a dog now in almost 2 years since our little Teddy passed away. And I'm a little out of practice. It's a lot of work taking care of a doggy. Thank you so much. I have these special new ones that I was saving for this technique because I really like to use the flattest plates I can for this technique. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Misti, and I'm going to use this stamp set. I really love this stamp set. And I noticed on Facebook and on Instagram, a lot of people are using this stamp set for some reason. It makes my heart so happy. This is by Arjita Singh, and it's called Happy Flowers. And it's got this huge floral image. Then it's got this one big flower head and these leaves. And then it's got the word happy, and then you can mix that with you make me so very happy, happy birthday to you, happy anniversary, oh, happy day, happy for you, and don't worry, be happy. So I thought this is the perfect one. We're getting into some nice warm weather here in Wisconsin. It's coming. I saw it on the Weather Channel, and I believe that it's coming. And so this flower design just really makes me feel happy. So I wanted to use it. So what I have here in my Misti is I have this, and this is called a Misti Corner. And you can put this into your Misti, and then you can put your piece of cardstock in there so that the edges of the cardstock aren't nested up against the side of the Misti. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip my Misti over and use it the correct way. Everybody tells me I use it the wrong way. I use it backwards, but I don't know. It feels right the other way to me. And here I have a book fold card. Okay. So I'm going to put the folded side into the Misti Corner. All right. So somebody asked about the release. People on the waiting list have the first crack at it. That's not the way our waiting list works. The idea of the waiting list was to help us know how much to order. It's going to be released on release night, so everybody's going to be able to get it. But remember, thousands of people already got that kit, so we hope that there's going to be plenty. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to place this right here. Just tilt it a little bit this way. I'm going to move my magnet out of the way. But I want to get a good portion of this onto my card. There we go. That looks pretty good there. Okay, like that. So I'm kind of tilting it just a little bit so this edge is a little bit, it's not straight, but it's not kind of bending this way, if that makes sense. So I've got the flower tilted on a little bit of an angle there compared to the way it looks on the stamp sheet. All right, so now I'm going to pick this up. Okay, and I'm going to place this back in that spot. Now I'm going to ink this up using some black onyx ink. Now, if you're nervous about this moving around, you could use a little bit of purple tape just to keep it in place. I have some old purple tape here. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of it, maybe right over here, just to hold it in place. Okay. So now I'm going to use the black onyx ink, and I'm going to ink up this whole image. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you. I don't know that you'll miss out again. We ordered, you know, according to the wait list. So if you're on the wait list, it should be okay. Okay. All righty. And then I'm going to stamp this, and I'm going to use my Chucky tool to make sure I get a good impression. There we go. All right. Now I think I'm going to stamp it one more time just to get that impression a little bit darker. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Great. So you guys use the Misti the way I use mine. So this is backwards for you too. I'm telling you, everybody always makes fun of me and they say, why do you use your Misti backwards? I don't know. I guess I just started that way. I didn't watch any videos. I just pulled it out of the package and started using it. And then I got into that habit. And, you know, once you get into a habit, it's really hard to break. Okay, so I've got my image here on my book fold card. Okay, so let me clean up this stamp with my tidy towel. Let's see. It's great to see all of you here coming in on a Thursday crafternoon. Alrighty. That's right, Jan. No right or wrong way. Whatever works best for you. I like that. I like that. But I did get a lot of people making fun of me. Okay. So now we are going to color this image. And I know this is really scary to color it before cutting, but you know, I like to live on the edge. So let's do a little bit of Gamsol coloring on this. I know, isn't it pretty? It's just such a gorgeous big image. Now, I hope you guys don't mind. I know Gamsol coloring, not everybody likes to watch, but if you are new to Gamsol coloring, it does help to watch how I color this. And again, I don't color to, no, this is just our black Onyx Dye Ink. This is our regular premium dye ink. Super fast drying, works with Prismacolor pencils and Gamsol and Copic markers. The amalgam ink works with both of them and also watercolor. So I'm not going to be watercoloring, so I want it to just dry instantly. I don't want to worry about it. With the amalgam, I would just heat set it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start with Kelly Green. And Kelly Green is a great pencil color to match this piece of pattern paper. And I always keep a little square of white paper here just to test colors to make sure I like the way they match with the rest of my project if I'm using pattern paper. So you can always have just a little piece sitting by. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color right around the perimeter of these big leaves. So if you're new to colored pencils in Gamsol, let me tell you everything that I know about it. So the kind of colored pencils that you want to use are any kind of pencil that has a wax base. You don't want to use watercolor pencils. I know a lot of you have watercolor pencils, and that's totally fine. But why would you don't have to waste the Gamsol because you can just use water to blend. So this is not a watercolor pencil technique. It actually works if you have watercolor pencils with Gamsol, but it's a waste of Gamsol. So just use water for those. Now, any waxy pencil, some of the brands I know that will work are the Polychromos. They will work, the Caran d'Ache, Crayola, regular school pencils that you buy, not watercolor ones, but the regular school pencils that you buy will work. The biggest difference with the pencils like Crayola and some of the cheaper brands like that is they are a lot more wax and a lot less pigment. So you're going to get it to work, but it's going to be very, very soft, the color. It's not going to be vibrant color. When you use something like a Prismacolor pencil, or you get into the even more expensive pencils like the Polychromos or the Caran d'Ache pencils, then you're going to get a lot more pigment and a lot less wax. Of course, the wax is all you need for the Gamsol to work, but you're going to get lots of vibrant color. So if you're new, you know, when I first started coloring with Prismacolor pencils, I was a firm believer that I needed the whole, 10,000 color set or whatever it is. It's a big set. It's not 10,000 colors. I think it's like 160 pencils or something like that. You do not need that. I have pencils sitting in my Prismacolor pouch that I have never used as long as I've been stamping. And Prismacolor pencils are relatively inexpensive, especially if you're buying singles. You know, they're a little over $1 a pencil, $1.30, $1.40, something like that a pencil. So, you know, I would start with 24 colors that you know that you're really going to like. The difference between coloring with colored pencils and something like Copic markers is with Copic markers, you know, to do a lot of that shading, you really kind of need a light, a medium, and a dark Copic marker so that you can blend them together. With colored pencils and Gamsol, all you need is the single color. The Gamsol does the blending. I'm pressing pretty hard here, Bev. I'm giving it some good pressure. You can see my point is getting kind of worn down here because I want to get a lot of color on there. This is actually counterintuitive to the way a lot of people learn to color with colored pencils, because the real way to color with colored pencils is to do very light strokes and layer color, you know, build color up. You don't want to kind of press it so hard that it gets waxy and shiny. But for Gamsol, it's exactly what you should do, because you're going to get more vibrant color that way, and there's going to be more color and more wax there to blend. So this is not necessarily the artist way to use colored pencils, but it's certainly a really fun way to use colored pencils. And it's the way I use them because I don't profess to be an artist. I'm a crafter, and I just want my colored pencils to be pretty, you know, my work to be pretty. And I just want it to have lights and darks. I don't really care where the light's coming from. I don't really care where the dark goes to. I just want lights and darks, give it some depth. So I'm just coloring these little stems and these little parts of these flowers right here. And I think I got everything that would be that color. So let's blend out that color first. So the blending stumps that I use are by Creative Mark. They are my favorite blending stumps. I feel like they're not too hard. That's why I like them. Some blending stumps I've purchased in the past, they're so tightly pressed that you can't actually get the Gamsol to absorb into them. Okay. And then even when it's a brand new pencil, and especially when it's a brand new pencil, I always like to take a nail file or a piece of sandpaper and just prime the end a little bit, make sure it stays into a point by rolling that blending stump as you go. And that just makes it more absorbent, and it'll grab the Gamsol better. Now I have a little candle holder here, a little tea light holder. I like to use any container that's fatter at the bottom than at the top and as shallow as I can get. Even something like this little dish would be perfect. And I use the Gamsol, the Gamblin brand of Gamsol. Now there's also lavender spike oil, which can be used instead. And there's also a product called Zest It that you can use instead. A lot of no, I didn't sharpen these. They come pointed, but I like to just kind of make them more porous. They come pointed already. There is some people use baby oil. I am not a baby oil fan at all for a couple of reasons. Number one, I personally am not a big fan of the way baby oil smells, and my cards continued to smell like baby oil, where Gamsol dissipates and you can't smell it anymore. I can't even smell the Gamsol really when I'm working with it, because I use an artist grade odorless mineral spirits like this one. You do not want to go to the hardware store and buy odorless mineral spirits that you keep in your garage. Do not use that. It's different. This is made for artists, and this is what you want to use. This bottle will last you a really long time. And I can barely smell it, but the baby oil also leaves an oily residue. So it'll seep through your card and you'll have oil spots on your card, and they don't go away. At least they don't for me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my Prismacolor, my blending stump into my Gamsol, and I'm not just going to do that. I want to hold it there for a second because I want that Gamsol to absorb into that stump just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to start right on the color, not on the white next to the color, but right on the color. And I'm going to work in a circular motion, bringing that color toward the center of the leaf, just like this. See how that's kind of moving now? toward the center. And I like to get lighter as I go toward the center. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay. Yes. And, you know, whenever you're working with a chemical, which Gamsol is a chemical, obviously, but there's lots of chemicals. When you work with alcohol inks, that's a chemical. When you work with Copic markers, it's chemical. You should work in a ventilated area for sure. But again, you know, I'm not right up on it. I am a good distance away, and I'm using a high quality artist grade, so I can't even smell it. I know some people are more sensitive than I am, but I can't even smell it. Okay, so you can see I'm just going right over, and I don't really dip again until I start to feel the blending stump getting squeaky on the paper. If that makes sense. You'll start to feel it get squeaky and it's just not blending well anymore. Then I'll dip in again and get a little more on there. But I think this is a real nice way to create some depth and some color without having to, well, without really having to be an artist, just having some fun coloring. I really tried hard with Copic markers, and I know if I practice, I would get better and better at them. I just love how easy this is for me. And you guys know I don't do a ton of coloring on my cards. I do a lot of techniques, a lot of background techniques, so I don't put a lot of practice into it. If you want to learn how to color really well, there are amazing people out there that can teach you everything you want to know about coloring with pencils, with Copics, with watercolor. I'm not your girl, but I can show you how to have fun and get a pretty decent look just with some easy tools to use. This is my coloring method of choice, like when I go camping or when I want to take coloring somewhere, because I can put the Gamsol in like a little jar, and then I can color all the spots first before I actually go in with the Gamsol. So I hope this is looking good and you guys can see. Yep, Arteza markers are fabulous. There's all kinds of great markers out there. That's for sure. And they have those new markers. What are they called? Oleo or something like that. They look really neat too. But for me, colored pencils, you guys know I reach for colored pencils all the time. All right, so now I want to color the eucalyptus leaves, and I'm going to go for a much more gray green. So this one was Kelly green. This one is called, okay, Tom, how do I say this? It's Celadon. Is that Celadon or Celadon green? I don't know. The pencil number is PC1020. And on YouTube, I will list out all of the colors, okay? So you won't have to remember which colors I used. And you won't have to try to figure out what I'm trying to say, because I don't even know what I'm saying. All right, so I'm just coloring right around the perimeter of these. And then for this card, I'm thinking about making the flowers purple. What do you guys think? Purple is one of those colors that I don't use enough. I tend to overlook purple all the time. I tend to go to turquoise all the time. I know you guys are like, yeah, tell us something we don't know. My Instagram feed just looks like the ocean. The Caribbean Ocean. But I'm going to do purple on this one because I think purple would be really pretty. Now, I'm just going to make this a happy hello card, but you guys could use this as a Mother's Day card if you want, if you have to make a Mother's Day card. It's a great image for so many different things. It's perfect for sympathy. It's just an elegant image. Okay, I'm going to use a different blending stump for this one. And I'm just going to clean the last color I used off with my sandpaper here. But again, you can use a nail file if you have a nail file, and you can see the color's gone now. The paper does not pill at all with Gamsol. You can rub and rub and rub and rub and re-rub and add more color and go over it again and again, and it will never pill because it's not water, it's a solvent, and it just evaporates. And it doesn't bleed through. You can see there a little bit where I just did that last bit, but that's going to go away. Okay, now I'm going to, once again, load up my blending stump, and I'm going to add this green. Yeah, I will definitely add all the color names that I used. And again, what's nice about that is if you follow someone, let's say follow me, and you're thinking about getting into colored pencils, you can watch a bunch of my videos where I do this technique. And you can see which colors I used for different cards. And then you could just go out and get a few of the colors that jazz you. You don't need, honestly, if I took a red pencil, a turquoise pencil, a green pencil, an orange, a yellow, and a purple, I could color flowers all day because the shading comes in from the Gamsol. So you don't need 9 million colors for using this technique. All right, so there we go. You see how it's got a little bit of white in the center? I love that look. I missed the small leaf at the top. This one here, I thought I did that. Maybe these. Wait a minute. Well, you know, if I don't see it now, I will see it for sure in a little bit, but hopefully that's the one you were talking about. Okay, thank you. All right, so now let's get into some purples. Now I have a couple different purples here that I pulled out. This is a very blue purple. It almost matches my shirt. Kind of a periwinkle purple. I don't know how this is going to blend out. So here's another trick. If you want to see if a color is going to blend out nicely, do a couple of the colors. And then take a blending stump. Here's one that's dry. I'm just going to clean the color off of that. Okay, I cleaned some of the color off. And then you can blend these colors to see what they're going to look like. See what kind of shading you're going to get from it. Okay, that's pretty purple. Let's do another one. I'm trying to figure out which two would look really good together. I mean, I know these two are very similar, but are they going to be too similar? Somebody's saying, Tom, help her out. What are you supposed to be helping me out with, Tom?
Maybe the word.
Oh, the word. Oh, okay. Okay, so those two colors look really pretty together. So maybe the dark purple on the big flower and the light purple on the small ones. But let's just try this one too, because this is a really pretty color too. I think I'm going to go with these two. Oh, no, a missed leaf? Oh, you're right. I see it. Okay, thank you. Okay, hold everything. Rewind. Stop the live. Here we go.
Oh,
yeah, that's what they were saying. Okay, thank you guys. You know, I would have found it eventually, but I like it to be complete, just like you guys do. So everybody's going to breathe a sigh of relief now. There we go. Okay. All right, so let's start with this lighter purple. Everybody's like, whew. Now they can breathe. So I use this Eye Point Orbit pencil sharpener, and this color is called Lilac. So this is a battery operated one. They have an electric one that I love and I have at home, but this is the one I take with me on the road because it's battery operated. So if I'm going somewhere, I'm going camping, I'm, going somewhere where I just feel like coloring and I don't know if I'm going to have an outlet, I take that one with me. I haven't changed the battery in forever. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I'm kind of going along the lines of the flower down here, and then I'm working my way up just a little bit around the perimeter. Same here, just a little up. I'm going to do a little dot right there, a little bit here, and then I'm going to come down into here and around this thing, because this thing is going to be yellow, because these kind of look, I don't know what they are. I'd have to ask our Gina, but they kind of give me a poppy feel. So, and I know purple poppies are not a thing. Maybe they are, but I don't worry about like what the real color of a flower should be. I just color, you know, because I like the color. But I did do another one of these because I was making a card yesterday and I thought, ooh, before I send it, I'm going to show you guys the colors that I used for this same card on another one. I think you're really going to like them. But I wanted to do something different on this one, and I thought purples would be just the perfect thing. Okay. So just a couple more, and then we'll get that blended out, and then we're going to die cut this. And I know a lot of you are going, oh my God, Gina, why didn't you die cut it first? What if you mess up? I've thought of that. But, you know, sometimes those are great teaching moments. When you see somebody mess up, it's the lesson then becomes die cut first. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think I can do it. We're going to use a lot of tape, though, because we're going to make sure things stay where they need to stay. Oh, my goodness. This is nice. I like to color when I am stressed. Do you guys like to color? Because coloring to me is very peaceful. It's very relaxing, and it's, how should I say this? It's a little mindless. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not thinking, oh, now, you know, what do I do next? And how am I going to assemble this card? And what kind of scene am I going to be? It's just coloring. You don't have to make this into a card. You can just color the design and decide what to do later. So that's one of the things I really enjoy about the coloring process. All right, I'm going to take one of these blending stumps that already has some purple on it, and I'm going to redip. You cut yours afterwards too, Teresa? Okay. All right, so we're team brave. Okay, so I'm gonna again just work that color toward the center. And you can see how the color softens up quite a bit. It gets nice and light toward the edges. And I love the texture that Gamsol puts into the drawing. It's different than just, you know, super smooth. It actually has a little bit of a mottled look. And I like that because I think in nature, things have texture, and that's what we love, is the texture that we see. Now, if you're not getting enough color or enough movement, don't be afraid to go back and add some more color in there. You can color right over it because that Gamsol just, you know, pretty much dissipates right away. So you can go add a little more color in there if you want. Love that. Okay. All right. You have no sound, Patricia? Try going out and coming back in. I'm sure you can't hear me. Oh my goodness. If I had a brain someday, I'd be dangerous, you know? Somebody says, I have no sound, so I start telling them what to do. I should write it down, right? All right, Tom. Well, while I'm coloring these flowers, have you a word of the day?
Word of the day. Yes. Okay, so the word of the day, very useful word.
We want to see you, though, while you're talking.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
You can have my overhead. I'm still coloring.
Okay, the word of the day. It's a good word. Word of the day is patience. 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 Patience is a good thing. It can get us through a lot of difficulties. a lot of trying times. One place, however, where I think it's especially helpful to have patience is at the doctor's office, right?
Oh boy.
Right? So things go best when patients are patient. Not all patients have patience. Some patients have patience and other patients have no patience. Whether impatient or patient, patience can be impatience or outpatience. So sometimes on a very calm day, you see patient impatience and patient outpatience. Other times you see impatient impatience and patient outpatience. Or patient impatience and impatient outpatience. The worst, of course, is when you have impatient impatience and impatient outpatience. Then it's going to be a bad day.
Oh my gosh.
Some patients just got their paycheck, so they're impatient to pay the patient bill before their paycheck is all used up. So regardless, the point of all this, in my humble opinion, is that the patients should be allowed to pay their patient bill before the impatient patients, regardless of whether they're being patient inpatients or patient outpatients. Don't you agree?
I honestly feel like I am living in the middle of a Dr. Seuss book right now.
Or are you beginning to lose your patience?
I am losing my patience right now. That was so cute. Oh my goodness. Well, somebody asked me what size Creative Mark blending stump I'm using, and this is a number 1, so it's the tiniest one. Oh, Tom, that was pretty funny. That was very funny, actually. All right, now I'm going to add some yellowed orange. Gosh, did you have applause on there, Tom?
I do.
You should give yourself a round.
I should.
And I'm just going to... Did you give yourself a round of applause? Yay, Tom! So I'm just adding a little bit of this yellowed orange in here. And I'm not even going to blend that. I'm just going to leave that nice and vibrant and bright. See that? Okay. So now, I'm so confused. I'm going to use the darker purple, and this one is called Violet. And I am just going to color the rest of this, just the big flowers left. So again, I'm going to go kind of heavy around the sides here. And then I'm going to work my way up along the lines in the flowers. You see that? And that's just going to be darker in that area, and I'll show you what I mean. And especially for these huge petals, you know, you definitely are going to get a different look. You're going to have a lot more white in there. And that's okay. I can use that same blending stump because I'm not going to be contaminating the light purple. All right, so I'm going to work this here. But you're going to get a lot more white. It's not real wet. There we go. It's so pretty. I love that. If you want a little more color, bring that in a little bit more. Tom, are you exhausted from that?
No, but Gail had it. If I had thought of it, she mentioned the flowers impatience.
Oh gosh, yes. All right, Gail, you're going to be on speed dial for the next one. Forgot about the impatience flowers.
Could have done another 10 minutes on that.
You really could. You could have. Thank God you didn't think of it. Just kidding. All right, so that gives me lots of white space in there. and I'll see how that looks. If I find after I color the rest of them that that's too much white space, you can always go back over it with a lighter purple and you can just do a little bit of soft shading in there. So let's see how it all looks. And I also want to get in between here, definitely in between all these little stamen. Just blend those. Okay, so we're almost done here and we're going to get ready for the die cutting part. Oh man, I'm tired on your behalf from that. We need to rename it because it's not real. Well, it is a word of the day. It's an interesting use of the word of the day, that's for sure. There has to be more that we can call that because that is just so extensive. Got to think of another name for it, Tom. Everybody's going, Tom?
Why? Word of the day doesn't cut it?
Well, it does. It's just so extensive. I feel like it's a paragraph of the day. It's an analogy of the day.
The word of the day was patience. If you go back and read the transcript, you'll see that word in a whole bunch of forms was mentioned a few times.
That's true. Kay said maybe the philosophy of the day. I like that too. I like this darker purple with the light purple. What do you guys think? Are you glad we went with these colors? The card itself is going to come together super fast because there's not much to it. Just the cut and you insert that pattern paper and it's going to be beautiful.
This is Karen's first time watching live. Our apologies, Karen.
Karen's first and last. Karen, sometimes the word of the day is shorter. What if I use this other colored pencil here, just for in here? No, I don't like that color. Going back to this one. Just to go around the perimeter there. So I still have some purple, but it's a lighter purple. And then we can always just hit that with a little Gamsol just to smooth it out. Okay, I'm digging this. A couple more petals and we're done. I'm going to color them all and then I'll Gamsol them all. Seems to go faster that way. And then we'll get inside there. I'm going to do the center of this flower, that same bright orange, that orange yellow. I think that will look good. Get around those. So I know you guys have some big flowers in your collection. So you can do this partial die cutting technique with any really big flower that has a big coordinating die with it. And if you don't have coordinating dies and you like to fussy cut, you can do it with a pair of scissors too. You don't necessarily need to have the dies. So you could give that a try as well. I am not a very good fussy cutter. I can do it if I have to, but I'm just not great at it. So I really do enjoy using the coordinating dies for this technique and for just cutting stuff out in general. But also, a lot of you, with these kinds of flowers, you're stamping right on the card. I'm going to blend a little here. You're stamping right on the card, and you might not think, well, I really don't need the die set, so maybe you didn't pick up the die set. So you could try just the fussy cutting and see what kind of results you get. Oh, I like this. It's hard to mess it up too, because even if it doesn't look perfect, you can just go back and add a little bit of color here and there. Add a little color there. I feel like that was just too big of a leaf to have that much white. All right. My blending stump is getting pretty saturated. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And welcome to anybody who joined us late. I see a couple people just say, oh my gosh, I just got here. Flying in the door. We see comments from all 3 platforms. People are watching us from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And so we get to see all of your comments. So welcome, everybody. I'll just do a little bit in here. I love the texture. All right, we're getting there. Yeah, I don't use purple enough, that's for sure. I can't wait to show you this other one I did. It won't be a shocker, though. The purple's a shocker for me. Loving it. Okay, we'll just get a little bit right here. Okay. And then the only time that I switch out blending stumps, and that's why I like to have a bunch of them, is if the blending stump starts to get so saturated with the Gamsol that it starts to go up too far up and it's starting to, like, you know, sit on my hands. So then I might switch out the blending stump so it's just not resting on my skin. Not that it's, I don't, you know, I've never had a problem with it, but I guess I just don't like the feeling of it when it's on me. There we go. Go. Couple more petals and we are golden. Almost picked up the wrong one, but I know you guys would have told me. There's this big petal up here. Also, I think once a blending stump dries, the Gamsol works a little bit better. I don't know why. You know, when it's fresh. So this one's a little fresher, this end. Can kind of see it working a little easier. So if that ever happens to you where it feels like it's just not working so well anymore, just switch out your blending stump. We're going to use this lighter one right over here. All right. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like the shading. Again, I don't, you know, people get mad at me sometimes when I say this, but it's really the truth. I don't know what I'm doing. But you don't have to, because the Gamsol just creates the lights and the darks, and it just looks good. Let's bring that out there. Okay. These are easier to do because they're smaller. And I'm just going right around the edge there of the petals that are resting on top of it. That just creates that little bit of darkness under there, like a shadow. And then work your way back and forth, bringing it out. It'll get lighter as you go. Okay, one more. Yeah, it's easy, so give it a try, definitely. If you're thinking about trying this today, break out the colored pencils and the Gamsol and give it a try. Put on a good podcast or a good TV show that you like to listen to and just spend the day relaxing and coloring. Sometimes it's so good for the soul. And I'll take a picture of both cards that I've made using this so that you can decide which. Oh, I thought I only had one more, and I see a big white space over here. All right, one more. There we go.
Another petal to the left, perhaps?
Petal to the left. Petal to the right. Sounds like a dance move. Drop the pedal. Let's go.
Wow, now look at who's going off.
Pedal to the metal. I think I got all of them, right? I think so. So now let's just add this little bit of orange in here and we will cut. So the orange is going to be nice and bright in there.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying 2 more.
I have 2 more. I don't see any more. Do you see any more, Tom?
Well, I don't, but you're the artista.
See, okay. No, another small one. Another small one. Another small one. I don't see it. I don't see it. What am I missing?
All right, well, we'll press on.
We'll press on, yeah. Okay. Maybe it's a delay. Maybe we're getting the comments and it's delayed. Okay, no more petals to go. Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, I think it's delayed. People are watching a little delayed. It's freaking me out. Okay, let me get my die cutting machine now, and we are going to do the partial die cutting. So let's back up a little bit. Okay, good. Thank goodness. I'm reading the comments and thinking, what am I not seeing? All right, so I've got my big plate in here. And then I'm going to take one plate and put it in here. And then I'm going to slip my card all the way in like this. And then I'm going to find the coordinating die. Here she is, the coordinating die. And then I'm going to place the die. That's a big die, isn't it? All right, so we want to make sure that when I start rolling it through, that it's going to go through the machine. Okay. And it will. It's good. And then I'm going to tape this down. And the way I'm going to tape it down is I'm going to tape it all along here because that's going to get cut off. So I'm going to tape it down nice and tight. Not going to worry about it. If it tears, I don't care because it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to tape it here. I'm going to tape it over here, like this. Okay, so that should hold it in place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my plate up to where I want it to cut. Does that make sense? So I only want it to cut this edge off right here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push it through the machine. And, oh, I need a second pair of hands here. Hold on now. There we go. Just get it started, pushing it through, and then it's going to cut. All right. See how that just fell right off the edge? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that fun? I love it. Okay. And then this is what's left. Okay. Now, here I have an area that cut. You see that right there? I could either leave that or I could trim it. And I think I'm going to trim it. So let's go ahead and trim it. And all I'm going to do is get a pair of nice sharp scissors. And I'm just going to cut straight from the bottom up. There we go. right, just to get that out of there. That doesn't make too much of a difference like this, but you are going to see it when I pop in this panel right here. So I'm going to put this panel on the inside. You can write on this paper because it's a matte paper. It's not a shiny paper. Now, like I said, if you don't have this kind of paper, pattern paper, that's okay. Just wood grain. Do a little wood graining or something so that you've got a nice texture inside. Maybe a gray wood grain or a craft wood grain, like a lighter wood grain, something you can write over. All right, and then we're going to just place that in there. Even borders.
So you didn't need to use the top cutting plate?
I did use the top cutting plate.
Okay.
I used the top cutting plate and I pressed the top cutting plate right up to that line. I didn't extend it so that when I pushed it through, there was nothing, no cutting plate to here. It looked just like this, just in case you missed it. On the top, it looked like this. That's where my plate went to. So when you pushed it through, it only cut where the plate was putting pressure on the die, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. And this is not a straight cut either. I noticed that when let's try to fix that. Here we go. It's like the bangs again. Okay, and there. See how pretty that is with that pattern paper inset? I love that.
Wow.
All right, so all I have to do is add a greeting. It could be any kind of greeting. Let's see what we have in here. Got a lot of big greetings in here. So maybe I'll use a smaller greeting. And since we're getting close to running out of time, I will pick a greeting and then I will post this card with the greeting. I want to show you the other card I did and the colors that I used. I made this one. And this one, I used the happy. I just stamped it and die cut it, and I added for you in there. So there we go. All right, they're the two partial die cut book fold with that pattern paper insert. Pattern paper makes all the difference because then you really can see the die cutting, right? All right. Love that. Okay, so yeah, I'll pick a little greeting and I'll pop it on there. And we're going to give both of these cards away today, Tom.
Yes.
So I promise this one will have a greeting. So we'll call this the turquoise card. And I did the poppies in red on that one. I think they're poppies. And then this one is all the purples. So, all right, Tom, where are we?
Okay.
Okay. So let's give away this one first. The one that I made last night.
Here we go. First winner is...
I have to make another one now because I was going to give this to somebody.
Deaf Sheltie Mom.
Yay! Congratulations! What's the name?
That would be Deaf Sheltie Mom.
Deaf Sheltie Mom. Congratulations! All right, this card is yours. And when you post what you won, you have to say the turquoise card. Okay. Now, who wins the purple card?
Purple card goes to Beverly Lancaster. Beverly Lancaster.
Congratulations, Beverly. All right, so there are two winners for today. I'm going to pop a greeting on here, and I'm going to take pictures of these, post them on Facebook and on YouTube so you guys can see them up close a little bit. And for our winners, if you would just send your name and address and which card you won to info@ginakdesigns.com, we'll get that right out to you. Well, guys, this was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this hour together. I'm going to be back over the weekend with a 5-minute card video. I also posted a little quick reel with some Gamsol coloring over on my Instagram. So if you want to see that one, go check that out as well. I posted that this morning. All right, everybody. Well, until next week, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.